evening, everybody.
Smoke weed every day.
We haven't heard that one in a while, so I thought I'd play it since we're kind of back to the old original show with the original music and all that stuff. So
Let's get ready to rumble.
And here we go. We're clicking on Dave's phone thingy. Oh, God, I hate that shit. Skype, if you're listening to me, make it so you can shut that thing off. That is obnoxious. Especially when you butt dial somebody and you didn't even know you dialed them right, and your phone starts ringing in your pocket, and you pull it out and you go, "Hey, Dave, what's up, man? We're video chatting. How the hell are you?" And he's like, "You called me." So there was that a couple days ago. What's up, Dave?
What's going on, man?
How are you tonight, man?
I'm all right.
Good deal. Good deal. Let's see. I think Lance is supposed to come on here. We'll try to find out if... Well, he's not lit. Jump down here and see. There he is. Hey, he lit up. All right. So we'll get him added in. Charlie's supposed to be trying to get swung out of work and home for the show, so we'll kind of stand by and wait to hear from him. In the meantime, on with the show. What's on your stack of stuff, Dave?
I don't know. Who knows, man? Crazy stuff going on these days.
So, did anybody? No one struck Syria the second time. Is that what I'm getting from the Syrian government? They said that there was a malfunction in the anti-aircraft and they shot at nothing. Well,
what was funny is, I was following that whole thing the other night, and what was being reported is that, Israel was shooting at them from Lebanese airspace, and there was explosions going off on the Golan and all this stuff, and Syria was claiming they shot down 9 missiles of Israel's, and Israel never admitted to it. So, the U.S. government said, all we know is we're not involved in this, and that's all America would say. But there was reports that 2 bases got hit, but it was the craziest thing that in the very next morning, Syria comes out. Oh, we had a malfunction. Basically, America and Israel cyber attacked our anti-missile system and set them off. So what it gets me is they were claiming they were blowing these missiles out of the sky, and there was reports claiming that whoever was flying those jets were hitting targets, and then the very next day, Syria denies it all. It makes no sense, Why were they saying that they were blown 9 missiles out of the sky just to turn around and say they didn't do it?
Right. Who got slipped a little bit of money or whatever to alter the story?
A lot of people, big analysts, that were supposed to, firmly believe something went down.
I believe it.
Maybe Russia's putting a tamper on this. I've got a story here to read in a minute on this, on what's going on with Israel. All right. But, what we did the other day, those 3 strikes, or those strikes on those 3 targets, I believe it was a false flag, and we shouldn't have been over there. And I understand all that. But at the same time, if we're going to hit a country, we need to hit them fucking proper. We need to take out every fucking base, every jet, every helicopter, the government palace. This one and done shit that Trump is doing doesn't work.
Well, especially when 70% of the fucking missiles got shot out of the sky. Now, I know that the DOD won't admit to it, and the American government won't admit to it, and the UK won't admit to it.
How can you trust the Syrians on out, too, after they lied, saying they shot down 9 the other night, then turn around and say they didn't shoot down anything?
Well, because Russia was the ones that shot down most of the ones that were getting shot. I mean, it was their troops that were operating the...
all I know is America got enough through to decimate those 3 targets. I mean, the satellite images prove that.
Yeah, they hit a cancer research facility at a fucking college, man. I just...
Well, I'm just saying, going by the narrative that we're given, saying you're asleep, I'm asleep, and the narrative that's been given to us on Fox and CNN,
right,
is that, we went for 3 targets. The 3 targets were decimated, which they were, no matter what they were decimated. And it is what it is. I don't go by the truth anymore. I know the fucking truth. I go by the narrative being fed to me. And I try to piece it together by that outlook. And the outlook is we should have did a lot more fucking damage than what we did. If we were trying to punish Assad for chemical weapons, we should have leveled the place. This one and done doesn't work.
I don't buy anything about the attack because it was 1 year to the week from the last attack that we said that he performed on his fucking people.
Oh, I said it was a false flag. I'm just purely talking about the narrative.
Well, based on that analogy, though, we had no right going in there to begin with. And Russia, what's up with Putin? Is he a paper tiger now? Because he said anybody crosses the fucking border and we're shooting them out of the sky, and that none of that shit happened. So
see, that's exactly it too. Putin in America, Putin and Trump, Putin and the elite, they're both in on this. They're both in on this.
Yeah.
Putin's allowing Israel to do what they want without any ramifications. Putin's allowing Turkey to do whatever they want without any ramifications. Putin's allowing us to do whatever we want without any ramifications. And to me, it makes him look very weak, but I think he's in on it.
Well, yeah. I mean, we've all seen the pictures of them all wearing the same color robes, walking around the fuck, you know what I mean? Holding hands with each other and whatever. So they're just playing their cards, man.
War is scripted.
Yeah, but the thing is, we're all what, just cannon fodder? I mean, I don't have a fucking underground bunker. Do you? I don't, I didn't get to spend millions of dollars stocking up for the fucking war that they're getting ready to throw us into, because this baby's going to go off the rails quick.
Well, I got a story here.
All this back and forth between Israel and fucking Iran, and it doesn't look anything close to good at all.
That strike Israel did about a week ago, they hit what they call the T4 base. It's Iran's main base in Syria, and they nailed it. And they blew up a new system that Iran just got into them.
Right.
And that they had just got bought from Russia, brand new, some kind of missile system. But anyway, Israel found out where it was and blew it up. And this is why Iran's so pissed. But in the process, 6 or 7 Iranian soldiers died. I think one of them was like a commander or something like that, some kind of high-level officer. And this is, and Iran's pissed. And the deal is, today, right now, over in Israel on Thursday, it's their anniversary, like 70 years of being a country, their 4th of July, and they're expecting Iran to hit them. Mm-hmm. And it could be a false flag, but this is what I got. Let me read this. It's a little bit long, Jimmy, but this says a lot.
Go ahead, brother.
All right. It says, foreign intelligence sources, Iran plans to spoil Israel's Independence Day celebrations. It says there is great concern that Iran is planning a demonstrative attack against Israel on Israel's 70th Independence Day, which is coming up here. It says due to the alert, the participation of some of the Israeli fighter jets was canceled in the international exercise planned for Alaska in the north of the United States. Now they're talking about the red flag drill. This was going to be the first year Israel was involved in it, and they were looking forward to this. They've been practicing for this. Of doing this event with us over in Alaska, we do every year, and we invite certain countries to participate. And this was going to be Israel's first year, and they're so concerned they pulled their jets out of it and said we can't send them. And so that's a big thing. There
what a bunch of fucking fear porn, dude. All right. Well, I mean, you got to give it to him, right? Who's the jerk off over in Iran that said, we're going to retaliate, and we're just not telling you when, but it's for sure game on.
Yeah. It says, in recent hours, there has been growing appreciation that the Iranians are organizing to carry out the move. And foreign intelligence sources are also reporting irregular movements of various forces and defense systems. It is believed that Hezbollah will not be involved in order to avoid an Israeli attack on Lebanon. But there is no certainty that this will not cause a response that will destroy the Iranian missile stockpiles throughout Lebanon. It says sources in Moscow report that President Putin is trying to calm the Iranians and prevent a large-scale move, but at the same time, the Russians are considering seriously supplying the Syrian army with sophisticated systems of anti-aircraft missiles in order to significantly reduce Israeli freedom of action over northern Israel. They're talking S-300 and 400s here. And it says the assassination attributed to Israel of a senior Iranian drones engineer in last week's bombing of the T4 base in Syria cannot pass without an Iranian response, according to Middle Eastern intelligence sources. It says former Israeli Air Force Commander Major General Ido Nushistan said in a radio interview today with Israel Radio that there is no doubt that Iran will act against Israel if it attributes to it the attack in which Iranian officers were killed in Syria last week. It says Minister Bennett, a member of the cabinet, tweeted, "We are taking into account all the possible actions that Iran and its satellites are liable to concoct. And we also know how to deal with the Iranian enemy, and we will not allow them to establish a front base in Syria. In Israel, there is an undeclared military alert. Large forces were preparing for the possibility of demonstrations and riots along the Gaza border and near settlements. In addition, there will be prominent presence in the Arab sector, mixed cities, and friction points in Jerusalem." And so they're saying that they think this is coming, man. And like I say, it could be a false flag or whatever, but Iran or Israel's come out hard the past couple of days and said, Russia's not, even though, Iran is an ally of Assad. I get that. But the only reason why Iran's moving in, and it's not a hidden secret, is to get closer to Israel. They've been sworn enemies since a very long time. And so Israel knows this. Israel knows what Iran's up to, and Israel's not going to take it. They're not. And they're going to level the fucking place. And they're going to level Lebanon.
Let me ask you something. When was the last time that you reported on Iran making an aggressive move toward any country?
Oh, I know it. I reported the other day when they flew that drone over in Israeli airspace and Israel shot that thing down.
Now, I mean, okay, prior to the last 3 years, when's the last time Iran's made an aggressive move toward anybody? Other than the hostage crisis back in the 70s.
Side. I'm just reporting the news.
Well, no. I'm just saying, anybody that's paid attention to world history knows that Iran is not an aggressive country. Now, they don't like Israel. A lot of motherfuckers don't like Israel. But
a lot of motherfuckers don't like America either.
Right. We're getting ready to find that one out for sure. But what I'm saying is that I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you because the Ayatollah, whatever the fuck his name is over in Iran, he did say that we're getting ready to kick your ass. So,
when they took our sailors hostage a couple years ago, and I blame Obama for not doing his part, but the deal is when they took our soldiers and they had them on their hands and knees and cussing at them and everything else, that pissed me off, man.
We were in their waters, though, man. I mean, there's no denying that. Even our government said that we were. Yeah,
they got caught doing a mission.
Right. So, I mean, the fact that we were told to get on our knees and surrender, that I don't stand for. But Iran had every reason to do what they did.
Like I said, I think we're being too easy with North Korea after they sent Otto Warmbier back in a goddamn coma. And Trump wants to sit down and negotiate with this cocksucker.
We got to dive into the whole CIA thing too, man. We got to dive into the whole CIA thing. I know we'll save that for a minute, after you're done with the serious shit, but we got to talk about that.
Obama didn't want to negotiate with Iran. He sent them $140 million or something to let those guys go.
Yeah, I think it was a B.
Because
there was 4 or 5 pallets. Yeah, 4 or 5 pallets of cash. So yeah. I think there was a B behind that.
Whatever he sent them, and the deal is, it's just I don't get it, man. As a military, as a vet, I just don't get it. It's, I don't know. I'm so frustrated with this whole thing. I see the narrative being played out here with these, these strikes in Syria and all this other stuff, and we're heading for a big war, man. And tell you what, now Trump's trying to say he wants an all-Arab army to take our spot in Syria. He wants Saudi to come in and take over where we're at. And Saudi's going to rip that place apart going after Syria and Iran. Trump's bringing on a bigger war than I understand bringing our troops home.
You can tell that he's not a student of history, that he has no fucking clue. He has no clue what he's stepping into. Nothing. He's blind. He wants
to send Saudi and all these other armies into there that don't like Syria, that are kind of Sunnis.
Yeah. But
he's going to bring on a bigger war by doing that.
He's doing exactly what he's told to do because he doesn't have a clue what he's fucking talking about at all. So he's just he's a puppet. His ass is as wide as all the other politicians up there because somebody else's hand is jammed up it.
So this will be the next part 2 of this war kicking off. Will be Israel going after, Iranian frontline bases there, and they're going to get into it with Hezbollah. They're going to get into it with Iran, get into it with Syria. What's Russia going to do? What's America going to do? Who knows, man? It depends how bad it gets, I guess.
Saudi are in Syria. John says they're called ISIS.
No,
I don't think Saudi
ISIS.
Arabia has anything to do with ISIS, man.
But I mean, to send regular forces in there,
right,
with tanks and everything else they want to bring in, the jets.
Don't they have their hands full in Yemen?
They do, but I think Saudi's been biting at the chomp to get into Syria. This is their back door to do it.
Yeah, so what are they going to do? They're just going to let the Yemeni thing die out and let I don't. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
they're saying that basically Trump told Saudi when the Saudi king was here, prince was here, wherever he was, and said $50 billion. It's what it's going to take for us to do our part of repair in Syria. And they had told Saudi, if you pay that $50 billion, it's all yours. We'll move out and you move in.
Yeah. Is their fighting force that big that they can fight a war on 2 fronts? I don't have any idea. I don't know anything about Saudi
they're
Arabia.
not the greatest fighters, don't get me wrong, but what I'm saying is this is just going to lead to more and more bloodshed, putting the Saudis in there.
Right.
Of course, like I said, Saudis are all buddy with Israel. They want to go after Iran. It's going to be Israel and Saudi going after Iran together. Saudi said they were going to be a part of this coalition that struck Syria, and Saudi hasn't acted yet, and neither has Israel. And this is going to be their part. This is going to be a continuation of what happened the other night with those strikes in Syria. This is going to be This is going to be the bloody part coming up. And we're going to allow the Israelis and the Saudis and the Iranians and Hezbollah and Hamas and every other terrorist group that doesn't like Israel all to fight it out at one time.
So when does the shit hit home?
I don't know. That's a good question. They're already trying to say that Russia's cyber attacking our infrastructure the past couple days. So who knows? They could flip the lights off at any given moment in any city in this country.
Haven't heard that.
Yeah,
Where's
it came out today.
Who posted?
Who was it? It was on Fox. I think Fox was the first place I seen it. That they're hitting our routers, they're hitting other infrastructure key targets. I think I've got the story here somewhere, man. Just 1 second.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't scrolled down your wall yet on Facebook, but I didn't catch that one. I usually catch your big stuff.
Let me see right here. It says Russian cyber attacks have targeted millions of computers, including home Wi-Fi routers. It says a global Russian hacking offensive is underway. Fuck, just 1 second.
Maybe it was them. Maybe it wasn't Sudden Link that had me fucking locked off. I couldn't log on for a day and a half. Maybe it was the damn Russians. Those damn Russians! So now every jackass that can't get on their Wi-Fi is going to be fucking screaming at Putin's name. You motherfucker!
Anyway, it said the Russian operations, which allegedly involve planting malware on internet routers and other equipment, could also lay the foundation for future offensive cyber attacks. This is a joint statement by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, and the U.K.'s National Cybersecurity Center said the main targets include government and private sector organizations, as well as providers of critical infrastructure and internet service providers. It says victims were identified through a coordinated series of actions between U.S. and international partners. And it says both nations have high confidence in finding of Russian-sponsored cyber meddling, which the alert says has been reported by multiple sources since 2015.
It's just like Steve said in the room just a second ago, man. They also told us that Russia fucked with our elections.
Well, like I said, this is what I tell people now. I don't go by the truth anymore. I go by the narrative because that tells you the direction they're going.
Oh, yeah. Russia, Russia, Russia.
You have to go by the narrative, and the narrative is here is, I'm not worried about nuclear weapons being used. Cyber attacks are the new nuke. They can take down parts of the grid.
And
we can take down parts of theirs. They can take down parts of ours.
And bioweapons,
and bioweapons, and like I said, nukes are the least of our worries, because if they turn the power off,
they don't want to have to rebuild all the fucking buildings and shit, dude. They're not going to come over here and knock them down, right? I think there's something out there. That they developed after they developed a nuclear weapon with a neutron bomb. Is that somebody tell me if I'm right or wrong? I know somebody in chat's going to know this. The neutron bomb would destroy humans but leave all the buildings intact. Right? It was something about there was very little overpressure with this bomb, but it did something to the atmosphere where it I don't know if it sucked off all the oxygen or whatever, or made it poison to breathe, but it would kill all the humans and leave all the buildings intact. Was that a neutron bomb? Now I'm talking back in the 60s now. Back in the 50s, 60s, something like that. I remember doing some kind of school paper on different bombs that they had back in the day. So I don't know. Somebody in chat will let me know if I'm full of shit. Anyway, carry on.
But the direction, and like I said, this is my big thing is looking for a cyber attack. It's because the direction we're going is once, the power goes off and some people see it aren't coming back on in your bigger cities, there's going to be melees. There's going to be riots, chaos, social unrest. People are going to start fighting for food and water.
Fuck yeah.
Because
90% of them have no idea about self-reliance.
No, and it won't even be a civil war. It's just going to be us wasting each other in different little factions, and that's all it's going to come. And that's what they want for this country. And we're going to go into one hell of a long. It might be like Russia when they collapsed for like 10 years when the Soviet Union collapsed.
See, I don't buy that, dude. The whole time that our government told us that they were collapsed, that the fucking Soviet Empire, they were working on all their technology and shit, dude. Look at what they got now. They got cell phones over there that make apples look like toys. Screens on the front and back and shit, and they flip open and fuck. Look at the planes they're flying, dude. They make the F-22 Raptor look like it's third generation fighter. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that the Soviet Union when they
never
collapsed that was it. Man. What I'm saying is the people suffered.
Well,
the government didn't fucking suffer.
If you trust what you hear from our mainstream media, see, I look at my history from that for taking a whole different perspective on that shit now. You know what I mean? I don't really believe anything that I read when I was in high school as far as history books and shit. I don't believe any of that shit anymore because I know it was written by the. Yeah, I know it was written by a propaganda.
It's the truth. When the Soviet Union collapsed, it wasn't a goddamn field day, and the fucking people suffered.
Well, I know, and I saw some footage from then, and I've watched some fucking reports, from documentaries from back then and stuff like that. So I get where you're going. But they were still mining gold. Everybody still ate. You know what I mean? It might have been hard living for a long time. We're getting ready to suffer the same fucking thing over here, right? It's going to be like 1929 all over again.
Everybody's got a gun here, and we're going to find out what these guns are for. And they're not going to be used against our government. They're going to be used against each other because their government's going to be underground. It's just going to be us killing each other.
Yep.
And that's
over
fine.
A gallon of fucking milk, y'all. Listen to what he's saying right now because it's coming. We've been talking about it for years, but we're like right on the edge right now. Go ahead.
And that's it. And like I said, I'm for the Second Amendment. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole with this, but I will say this. Because the Second Amendment's going to be our downfall. We're going to be blowing each other away, good guys and bad guys. There's going to be no distinction. Some of your good guys are going to turn to bad guys when it comes to protecting their family and getting water and getting food from them. Your own brother could turn on you if he gets hungry enough. People need to take this seriously when it comes to this cyber stuff because, like I said, it's going to cascade too. People say, "Oh, well, they can't turn it all off at one time," and that's probably true, unless maybe an EMP goes off above us. But the deal is, it's going to cascade because it's going to put pressure on everything else for each city that falls.
This, I feel, what's coming to the United States, and you guys can poo-poo me all you want to. I don't care. This is my show. I say what I want. I feel what's coming to the United States right now is divine retribution. It's karma, if you will, if you believe in karma, whatever. I believe in Yahweh because he's my God. And he's getting ready to lay a smacking on us because we've been playing world bully for 50 fucking years or more. And, you know, we've been talking about this for a long time. The rest of the world's had enough, and they're getting ready to stick it right back on us. So, this is karma.
It's karma, but it's also, I think, scripted too, man.
Lance, did you ever pick up?
Yeah, I've been on there.
All right, you quiet motherfucker. What was the last thing that I texted you, dude? Try to talk some tonight, will you?
Well, man, you guys have been talking. I mean, it's been very.
You can add in. What did I say?
Stuff. No, man, that shit. No, man, good stuff. Good stuff.
When you watch the video, you'll see what I did.
It's like 30 seconds, man.
So we'll wait for the giggle. Go ahead, Dave.
Talk about North Korea here. Trump spoke today with the Japanese prime minister in D.C., and he's basically saying, that we sent our CIA, the head guy there, Pompeo, over Easter weekend. He met with Kim Jong-un over, and didn't say where, I guess, Pyongyang, and that he met with him. And
I asked you on Facebook, dude, what in the fuck are we doing sending the CIA over there, man? That is just... God,
because
if that doesn't get,
going to be there,
and I didn't see that anywhere except from you. Like, I didn't hear about it on any major news posting. I didn't see any videos about it on YouTube from my regular guys that are on top of that shit. I didn't see nothing about any of that except from you.
Well, it's all over the news now. But
now,
The deal is he's going to be the Secretary of State. He's taking Tillerson's job if he's confirmed. There's some Democrats holding out that don't want to confirm him, but Trump looks at him as a sure deal. So he's going to be giving up his CIA job, and then he's going to be taking Secretary of State. And so they sent him over there secretly.
Once you're CIA, you're always CIA.
Yeah, you're always CIA. And he doesn't really like North Korea either. And what I read last night from his meeting and stuff is that Trump pretty much knows that little Kim's not going to give up his nukes. That pretty much Pompeo informed him of this, that their version of denuclearization is a lot different than our version of denuclearization.
Right.
And that basically Trump's saying now, kind of holding a carrot over South Korea and North Korea's head, saying, little Kim, if you give up your nuclear weapons, we'll sign a peace treaty. But it just can't be us. It's got to go through the UN. It's got to go through Russia. It's got to go through China. So Trump's making it sound a lot easier than what it could be.
What was the little posting I saw that said that North and South Korea were going to squash everything between them and remove the DMZ and no.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay. Sorry, I guess I missed that.
And that's what I'm talking about. But the deal is, it just ain't that easy. It's got to go through the UN. It's got to go through Russia, China. It's got to go through us. All the signatories.
Why? Because of the 7-party talks?
Yeah, something like that. Because when it was written up back.
It ain't none of it's. That was for the peace talks, right? Okay, so if they came to a resolution and they're going to go ahead and squash everything and bury the hatchet, then we got nothing to say about it.
Oh, I agree, but that's
are we not going to sign? Is anybody not going to sign that thing?
I don't know. They don't know. They said it would take a long time to get it all through. And so,
whoa! We want you guys to stay at war for just a little while longer, man.
Yeah,
give us 6 months to
them. We don't want them signing, because that would mean we would have to remove our troops, and that's not going to happen. And so
this is so fucking upside down, dude. It's not even funny anymore.
They said this is one reason why they won't become, put the shit aside, because we won't allow our troops to be removed. And if they were to sign an agreement, we would have to take them out. And so they said that would leave South Korea still vulnerable in case little Kim ever turned on them. You know, that
This
maybe
is
that's what
just
little Kim wants is for all this to go down. Then all of a sudden, once we're gone and everybody's gone, he snaps on South Korea and attacks them. And so, you know, Trump came out and says it's basically, you know, if I hear this meeting ain't going to go well, I'm not even going to go. Or he says if I see it going bad while we're having the meeting, I'm just going to walk out. And so we'll see what happens with that. They said there's 5 different cities that they could be holding this big meeting in. They're not saying yet where at exactly. They said it won't
It's
be
all going to
United
happen in
States.
secret too, yeah. It's
What's
all going
that?
to happen in secret too, yeah.
Well, they said it won't be North Korea or the United States. They said, you know, little Kim's not going to come here, and we're not going to go there. They said it won't happen with Trump. They said either it's going to be like on the
Beijing.
on the DMZ there in that one village they got, or it could be in. They said there's a host of areas.
Beijing, Tokyo.
And they said it could be Beijing or Moscow, but that America's not in favor of either one of them either.
No, I don't think I don't see Trump flying to Moscow. I don't see Trump flying to Moscow anytime soon, dude. If he did that one, it would shock the world after all the Russia shit that's going on, dude. I don't see that happening. So
he said there's a good chance it could be in Stockholm, Sweden, since Sweden is our mediator. North Korea, we don't have an embassy there, so Sweden handles all of our embassy work there.
Right.
They said it could be in Stockholm, or it could be in Geneva, Switzerland.
Stock
or it
up
could
on
be,
some chocolate, man.
They're talking about a place in Mongolia, even. They said Mongolia is neutral to both sides. They're looking for neutral countries.
Mongolia.
Some big city in Mongolia.
That's one for the record books right there, brother. That I'll bet Trump will pick that one just because it's so obscure.
Yep.
I'm gonna go to Mongolia.
But there's a whole bunch of them, but that they could be. But they said that our government has 5 cities that, you know, that's what they're down to now. 5 different cities where it could be at, and they won't say which one yet.
Oh, awesome.
And Trump still states this meeting may not even happen. I'm sure there's still high level talks going on, and it's like, you know, he's not going to give up his
consult
nuke
Melania
right?
first, right?
He's not going to give up his nukes, and that's the whole deal. You know.
All right.
So Trump says, well, you know, there could be, if he doesn't want to go along with it, you know, there's going to be bad things happen.
Steve said the Japanese prime minister was in Japan, or was in Florida today.
Yeah, he's in Mar-a-Lago. That's where him and Trump are speaking from.
Oh.
He was in D.C. yesterday, and then he flew to Mar-a-Lago. He went there to play golf with Trump today. I think they played like 18 holes or something.
I'm sure everybody down there that lives there permanently is thrilled about all the security going on right now.
Yeah, they hate it from the stories I've read. Mm-hmm. There's always protesters by the entrance, too.
Isn't that where he's got his great big flag?
Yep.
He's proud of that motherfucker. He spent a bunch of money on that motherfucker. Send him to Chernobyl, Hobo says.
In Siberia.
Right on, Tim. Send him to Chernobyl. Yeah. Hey, why don't you guys meet up in Fukushima? You can discuss the whole tsunami damage thing while you're there. You know, the nuclear plant that's puking water into the Pacific on a daily basis for the last 7 years.
You know, now they're talking about that we're going to put sanctions on Chinese officials.
Oh, boy. Well, yeah, but they just said, didn't Nikki Haley say we were going to slap him on Russia, and then Trump said, nah.
Yeah.
Well. Now, look, I'm not a Trumpster, guys. Don't. I mean, everybody that's watching me knows that, right? I'm not. But it's just the back and forth in the administration doesn't seem to be back and forthing very well, because right hand doesn't know what left hand does. It's crazy. You know, same way with him and Mattis. They don't see eye to eye. You know, one speaks, the other one goes, what?
Well, they said, you know, you bring that up in that attack in Syria that just happened the other day. They said that Trump wanted to hit Latakia. They wanted to hit Tartus, Russia's main naval base, and Mattis said, no, that ain't going to happen. And they argued, I guess, for a long time over that till Trump finally gave in. Trump wanted to bomb the Russian base, and Mattis like, you know what's going to happen if you do
mistake.
that? Yeah, that's what Mattis told him.
Yeah. Trump
But
don't
now
give a
that
shit.
we're threatening
Trump don't
him.
give a shit. He just wants to be in the history books, and if he has to start World War III to do it, he's going to do it. Him and his Twitter thumb.
Our government also came out today and threatened Syria with more strikes, and said that one more chemical attack, we're going to go even further. So we could do another false flag just so we can attack them again, which I think is going to happen sometime.
Man, there is so much footage coming out from down there that all that shit was staged. The bombs that they said fell through the fucking. I mean, it bounced off the floor and landed over on the bed. How's that happen, dude? I mean, usually bombs go straight down when they go down, and it looked like an old water tank. Come on, man. It's just ridiculous. If it was coming from the Assad government, it would have been an actual weapon of mass destruction, not a fucking homemade, steam cannon, fucking whatever the fuck it is, man. I don't know. I just don't get it, man. I don't get it. Plus the fact that they've got people walking through the hospitals talking to doctors, asking them where all the victims are, and they were like, "What victim? What is it? Gas attack?"
I thought it was a total false flag myself.
So, but hey, I mean, you're not going to see any of that shit on CNN or NBC or CNBC or Fox or whoever. So 90% of the people in this country have no fucking clue what's really going on.
They're only going to give you for the people that that watch the news, they're going to get the narrative, and for the people who don't watch the news, they don't even give a shit.
Speaking about people that watch the news, Lance, what did Wolf Blitzer or Anderson Cooper have to say about all this stuff in Syria?
It's funny because was it Friday or the day after they did the attack? And I flipped to RT. I watched RT the next morning. I watched CNN the next day, and I watched Fox the next day. CNN would not stop talking about Stormy Daniels. We had just attacked a fucking sovereign nation 12 hours before. I turned on the TV Saturday morning to get the scoop.
And they're
CNN
talking about
for a full hour talked about Stormy Daniels, and that was it. So
was there anything in the scroll across the bottom of the screen or anything?
Yeah, it was scrolling across the bottom of the screen.
Okay.
And then I flipped over to Fox, and they were talking about the outrage about that Cohen guy being raided, the attorney for Trump over the Stormy Daniels. 2 hours straight, not one person had a story about anything that was going on in Syria. So if you would have gone to sleep Friday night, you could have, gone all weekend, and if you'd watched mainstream media, you might have missed a total story about Syria. And then you go to RT, and it was all the protests in every city around the world. There's like 6 of them that they showed. But lots of countries in protest. They showed the Syrian people jeering in the street, standing together. And if it was a chemical weapons facility, then if you bombed it, wouldn't everybody around there, wouldn't that be a chemical attack for everybody that lived around it?
Exactly.
Everybody kind of seemed to be walking around pretty well for dangerous chemicals to be floating around in the air after a big bomb attack. Everybody seemed to be walking around pretty easy without breathing apparatus.
France said that they had irrefutable evidence of a gas attack. I never saw it. I never saw them. I never heard anybody talk about it. I never heard anybody refer to it. Just heard that they had irrefutable evidence. Now, the only evidence that I've seen based on stories that the mainstream media has put out was I think she was French reporter picking up a piece of clothing off the ground and sniffing it and saying that she smelled chlorine. So, I mean, if we based our whole attack on a sniff, I'm not getting it. And everybody from the OPCW is now saying this didn't happen.
Right, because those people did make it in.
Yeah, so, they've been on the ground for 2 days now.
Yeah.
And everything's coming out of them. Didn't happen.
Nah.
Didn't happen. And what's the whole deal with the lab?
Don't confuse them with the facts.
Yeah, right, exactly. What's the deal with the lab in Switzerland saying, or Sweden, or whoever the hell it was? I think it was one of those S countries that said that they had proof that it was BZ toxin or BT toxin. What is it? BZ? Is it BZ?
BZ.
BZ. Yeah. And then the next day, it's like somebody squeezed their arm a little too hard, and they said, "Well, we're not sure if it was BZ, but we know it wasn't glubafluckin, whatever the fuck the Russian shit was." What's the deal with that?
I mean,
was that UN pressure? Was that U.S. pressure? Was it
Serpal poisoning too?
Yeah. The Skripals, they're fine now, right? They're both out of the hospital, and one missing their pets because their pets died, but I don't think anybody fed them.
Thank goodness there was an antidote for a toxin that they had no idea where it came from.
That was made back in the 70s.
Yeah, just thank goodness there was an antidote handy.
And Russia came out and said, somebody from Russia came out and said, I don't think that there's anybody in our military or our government that would send a spy over to the UK to give someone a non-lethal dose to eliminate them. That's just not the way things are done. So that there is that too. They got given a non-lethal dose of whatever it was, BZ, whatever.
Damn, was Charlie just on the call? I saw he just dropped off the call.
Yeah, he was on for just a second. He might be pissed that I didn't say hi to him. I don't know. We'll go grab him back up. He might be having trouble with his. There, he's lit up again. Well, now we'll see if he picks up here. There he is. What's up? Oh, nope, not yet. Still ringing. As soon as it says +3, then he's there. Mm-hmm. Still ringing. He might be having trouble. I'm sure he'll hit me on the phone and let me know. Maybe not.
So what about that lady that got smashed in the head with that piece of engine and almost sucked out of that plane?
She did. They said there was blood all over the inside of that aircraft. Did you hear the audio? Did you hear the audio recording?
Yeah, I listened to that.
Yeah. That pilot, she's a female, right? Everybody give her props. She's a female. She flew fighters jets over in Iraq a couple times. She's got her shit together, man, because she was not shaking on that radio one bit. It was like another day in the office. And thumbs up to her. People are trying to call her an American hero. I think she was just a pilot doing her job. If there was one other person on that plane or 0 other people on that plane, she would have still done everything in her power to get it on the ground, right? So just because she had a plane load of people, she was still doing her fucking job. People throw around the word hero way too much in this country. Way too much in this country. They think just because you hang a badge on your chest and carry a gun, you're a fucking hero. Mm-mm.
She just did her job,
Yeah, she was doing her fucking job. She was a pilot of the aircraft. She landed the thing because it started coming apart in the air. That's her job.
Well, she was nice and composed.
Yeah,
I'm sure her military
she had her
training.
shit together, man. If they give her a medal or whatever, yay, good for that. But just chill with the fucking hero shit, please.
Well, her military flying gave her the composure she needed to do that job.
Right. But it wasn't like she flew up from the ground and got in the plane and landed. You know what I'm saying? That would have been a hero. If she'd have had a big S on her chest and a cape and shit, then she's a fucking hero.
I tell you who also did a good job was that one cowboy guy, and the one, he was the first one, he undid his seat, ran over, and that woman was sucked halfway out, and he's trying to pull her in. He was getting sucked against the plane, then the fireman came over, and he helped that dude get that woman out. They said half her body was squeezed through the window of the airplane.
Yeah, it was, serious trauma.
Yeah, they said blunt force trauma to her head, her abdomen.
Yeah. Did you see the pictures of the fucking engine? That thing came apart. Unbelievable, man.
That much
General
pressure,
Electric.
her getting sucked out. I'm sure her ribs were getting crushed.
Oh yeah. She was dead. She was alive for a little while after they got her back in the plane, but she was dead. There was nothing.
This is my question to you, Jimmy and Lance, and I'm not going to get all religious here. And I'm a Christian. I don't understand. My God is a loving God, just like yours is, Jimmy, and yours is, Lance. And I believe it's the same guy that I'm talking about here.
Yep.
Who makes the decisions on how violently a person dies in this world? If it's my God and he's loving, why is he letting a woman get killed so violently like that? I don't understand who controls on the way that you die. Like Barbara Bush the other night died peacefully in her sleep while this woman's getting hit in the head with a piece of steel and sucked out of an airplane. Who makes these decisions on how you die and how violently you die? Someone has to be making that decision.
Oh, yeah. Or all the guys that are beheaded over in the Middle East. Or
that's going to be my one question to God is, who makes this? Who made that decision on earth, and how? That just baffles me the most. And I don't get mad at God because I believe He's a loving God, but I just don't understand who makes the decision on how you're going to leave this world.
You want to know how I see it?
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, that's just my little thought in my head.
We all make choices, right? We're given free will, and we make choices, and those choices lead to inevitability. There's a consequence for every choice that you make in your life. She chose to buy that ticket on that day and get on that plane. Lack of maintenance on the engine. It's like the butterfly effect. You know what that is? Okay.
One thing leads to another.
Right. I don't think there's a choice made like that, right? I think that my God, the God that I know, if he saw that coming, he snatched her out of that body. Her soul, her spirit, snatched her out of that body before that imminent injury occurred.
Oh, they say scientifically that's what happens. With any death,
as far as
your body leaves. Like if you're going to be in a horrific car wreck, your body leaves before
your soul.
Your spirit leaves before you feel it.
Yeah. So
but it's still scary.
Yeah.
It's just so scary to know that you could go so violently like that lady did, or any other violent way that some suicidal maniac chops you up and throws your pieces in a river. It just blows my mind. I don't know. I agree with what you're saying to an extent, but I still have questions about it, man. I mean, why do innocent little kids got the right to die from a gas attack in Syria or getting blown up in an explosion in a war? They have no reason. They didn't do anything wrong. Why are kids born into this world and die 2 hours later after they're born? I just don't get any of that stuff. When I see something like this that happened to that lady, my whole thought process just goes back to all that. Because as I get older, that's my biggest question with religion is who decides that? Who decides that?
I think it's your own decision, man. You know what I mean? That's why.
Well, you're telling me that a baby that's only 4 months old that was born with cancer, that was their decision.
No, something like that. No.
Or a baby that's born to a crack addict and he comes.
Well, that was the parents' decision. You know what I mean? That was the parents' decision.
The kid had no right to suffer like that.
It was her choice to have the kid.
And I understand that, but why does the kid have to suffer, though? He didn't have a say in it.
Some kids are born into shitty families, man. I mean, it just happens.
Everybody has bad luck. I get that. There's bad luck, and then there's stuff that I believe that there's things on this earth that happen that we're not humanly meant to understand. And then once we get to the other side, we look down and we say, oh, that's why that happened.
It's all, I chalk it up to free will, man.
Sometimes
things happen generations down the road from people's choices, 200 years ago. It's all that. It's all that. You know what I mean? It's how you raise your family.
I think we all have our opinions. None of us, we could all be wrong.
Well, yeah, and Lance is famous for that one, right? What you're saying, Lance? We can't
all be right, but we can all be wrong.
Yeah,
you got it.
Yeah.
So what me and you were saying here, Jimmy, we could both be assholes and be completely off.
Oh, I know I'm an asshole. I think I used to warn everybody before the show started that I was an asshole. I don't know if I did that.
You know what I'm saying, and it just bugs me when someone dies so violently like that.
It makes you upset, dude. Yeah, but it gets your attention, right? It gets your attention, and
it makes me not want to sit by a window seat anymore when I get on an airplane.
Dude. Yeah, but it really. I mean, if that thing would have went total decompression, it would have been all over for everybody. You know what I mean? If there would have been, if you have to think of it this way too. If that woman had not plugged that hole when she did, it could have went to a total decompression.
Yeah.
And everybody on that plane could have died.
Yep.
So you got to look at it that way too. You know, God put her in that place for that reason, and he took her.
Maybe,
but,
maybe
you know, he
she's
made
the hero, saved the whole plane.
Exactly.
Including the pilot.
Just
You're right. That thing
man.
would have folded up like a tin can.
Yeah, well, when they decompress like that, it's not pretty. It's not pretty.
You know, but it just brings life into perspective when you see something like that. How easily you can just be snuffed out in a heartbeat. You spend your life worrying about this and that, but then in the end, you can be taken out in 2 seconds.
That's why you should be right with God every day.
Well, you should, and it's hard though. It's hard. You know, there are some things that I have a hard time doing. I'd love to be the perfect Christian, but I'm far, far from it. No matter how I try, I always slide back down. You know, I just see that stuff, and it just puts life into perspective for me when I see something like that. How we're just like little ants crawling on a rock that can be easily stepped on.
Pretty much, life is very fragile. On the other foot, I have seen the human body take some incredible damage and make it through. You know, I mean, some fucking nasty damage. And those people are still here today. So there is that also. We can be snuffed out in the blink of an eye, but you can survive some horrific shit and still live to tell about it. So there is, I mean, it's all just a toss of the fucking dice, I reckon, brother. Leave it up to chance and the grace of God.
Well, it's like I tell my son, every time you get behind the wheel of your car, there's a 50-50 chance you're coming home.
90% of fatal accidents happen within 5 miles of your house.
Yeah. No, there was a lady here the other day that flipped on the highway over here, and she slid like a mile on her fucking hood, man. And she was all cracked out on drugs. And she went to a ditch, flipped it, the car hit the highway, and it was skidding down the freaking highway.
Wow, man.
You know, lucky no one else got taken out. This one car got clipped a little bit, but other than that, man, they got lucky, man. But she died instantly. And, you know, just that there was a head on here the other day. You know, some kid just wasn't paying attention and went over across the line going 50 miles an hour and hit this other guy. He died. The other guy lived. You know, that's my biggest thing. Like when I get behind the wheel of a car, to me, that's the most dangerous position I put myself in every day is when I get behind the wheel of my car.
Yeah, but you can't live in fear, dude. If you live in fear,
I'm just saying. I think that's one of the most dangerous situations you put yourself in every day.
Hell yeah, it is. And you have to drive defensively. If you drive offensively, you're guaranteed to be in a wreck. If you don't pay attention to everybody else that's on the road, you're also guaranteed to be in a fucking wreck. Because people are stupid, dude. They pull out in front of you. They fucking change lanes with 2 feet in front of your fucking guy. Yeah, fuck. Like even down here in the middle of the fucking woods, dude. When you get close to town, people drive like idiots. I mean, straight fucking. Okay, never mind. I'll get on a rant, and I don't want to do that. I might have some locals listening. Oh shit. But it's like Florida around here, right? This is like Florida for the rednecks, I reckon, because most of the cars that you see out there that are driving like idiots, all you can see over the top of the fucking back seat is this knuckles and a fucking, gray hair. Oh. And sometimes they're driving diesel dualies, man. Oh, fuck. Oh, okay. I'm stopping. Carry on.
Well, I mean, change the subject.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. I wanted to get off of the whole death, chick getting sucked out of the plane. That was a bad story. So, moving on.
It's just life is fragile, man. It just puts shit into perspective. People spend a lot of their time in life, and I'm guilty of it. How am I going to pay this bill? How am I going to do this? Especially when you've got a family, wife, kids, everything, and no medical issues going on with either you, your wife, or your kids, and you got more, money going out than coming in, and you spend your life worrying about that. But then 2 seconds while you're worrying about it, you can get killed.
Yep.
You can walk into a grocery store to buy a loaf of bread, and someone come in there and rob it and shoot you in the back of the head. Mm-hmm. But yet you spend and you look at it, and I look at this stuff, but then, after a day or two, it leaves my mind, and I'm back to worrying about bills, back to worrying about this, not realizing I could be dead in 2 minutes. But, that's just the way humans, I think, are wired, man. As long as you're alive, you've got to be concerned about certain things in your life.
Yep.
I think that's, I used to work out all the time before, my neck surgery and cancer and everything freaking else hit me. But you see a lot of bodybuilders die at an early age, man, from steroid use or from their hearts or just because you eat right and work out every day doesn't mean you're going to live any longer than a person that doesn't. Even though they try to tell you that scientifically, if you eat right and work out, you can live longer than your neighbor. You don't know that.
Well, I can tell you numerous stories of guys that were running fucking marathons and had a heart attack running. I mean, they were that in shape that they were out there running a 50-mile marathon and shit, still had a fucking heart attack, right? And then there's guys like George Burns that smoked cigars for 70 years and lived to be, 102 or something like that? I can't remember when George died, but he was an old motherfucker, right? Because he was an old motherfucker when I was young. So
look at people like Keith Richards and Mick Jagger.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Smoke and drink their whole life, probably still do, and still kicking it.
Yep.
But yet there's another person that works out every day, eats right, and dies at 25 years old.
Toss of the coin, bro. Although I gotta say, with Keith Richards, I think he might have signed a contract with Satan or something. I'm just throwing that out there. Maybe that's why the guy's living so fucking long. But yeah, I got you. Most of the cast from the Rolling Stones are still out there kicking it. So, you
look at guys
AC/DC.
like Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue that's OD'd like 6 times.
Yeah, AC/DC still out there kicking it. They're in their fucking 60s, close to 70. So there's that.
It's just.
I guess cocaine and heroin and fifths of Jack and shit, they might go a long way.
I guess you're already embalmed, so.
Right. I've already been dead. How can I die?
That's just, I don't know.
Right.
Life is crazy, man.
It's all genetics too, right?
Oh, yeah, genetics has a lot to do with it too,
All right. What else? What other kind of stories you got, man? We're all about the world news and shit like that. We're jumping down some rabbit holes.
This came out tonight. This is from the AFP. It says Albania wants U.S. military to establish presence. It says Albania wants to see a U.S. military presence established in the Balkan country in order to counter influence from nations such as Russia.
I was just going to say, what are they, scared of Russia?
It says the Albanian defense minister yesterday. He met with Jim Mattis at the Pentagon. Said NATO member Albania wanted to push back against Russian destabilization efforts in the region.
He must be really scared, dude, if he couldn't even do it over the phone or over the internet.
No.
He had to fly over here to beg for tanks and fucking anti-aircraft shit sitting on his border. Of course, I guess they did that in Poland too, right?
Come out and said, we believe that the time might be right for a footprint of the U.S. in Albania. This came out tonight, too. Just
because we got all kinds of money to spend. Not like we're broke or anything, right?
Oh, yeah. This came out tonight back in North Korea from the Wall Street Journal while we were talking. It says, U.S. practices wartime evacuation of Americans from South Korea. It says, in a low-key conflict simulation, about 100 civilian volunteers are being flown from South Korea to Dallas via Japan. It says the U.S. is testing procedures for the emergency evacuation of its citizens from South Korea in an unusual military exercise in which a small group of Americans will be flown to Dallas in conditions meant to simulate preparation for conflict. And it says, with a possible summit between President Donald Trump and North Korean Kim Jong-un approaching and inter-Korean talks 9 days away, U.S. officials have sought to play down the exercise dubbed Focused Passage. The exercise began without fanfare earlier this week.
Unreal.
Well, we're still practicing to get them out of there, and we're going to end up in war with North Korea, and I think that's a given.
Still a bunch of fear porn.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Now, if they squash everything and put the hatchet in the ground and bury it and all that good stuff, and everybody signs off on the agreement, are we still going to go to war with them?
No, but we're not going to let that happen.
We'll have to go to war with Russia.
You know, we're going to make sure they don't reunify.
Well, what did I say on the last show? I think that they're going to let. I think Israel's going to hit Iran, and then Russia's going to get involved there, and then we're going to jump in to help Israel because Russia's going to kick their ass.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. And I'm not putting it past the Iranian people not to kick their ass. You know, granted, they don't have nuclear weapons that we know about, and Israel does, but I don't know if Israel's willing to do that one. I don't know. Netanyahu's a dumbass, so we got that going for us. But I don't know, man. I don't know if it'll go nuke over there. There's a lot of oil.
Israel last night put out 5 satellite images of all the Iranian bases in Syria. They put out 5 of them, are the main ones that concern Israel, and basically telegraphing to the world these are the ones we're fixing to hit. They put out clear satellite images, showed where the Iranian base was, and said, basically these are the ones that we feel are a threat to us, and they're fixing to be eliminated. And,
so once again, giving them days of heads up to get everything out of there. What the? You talked about this on the last show. If you're going to hit somebody, shut the fuck up about it and hit them.
Well, like Trump gave gave Syria 3 or 4 days before we did anything.
I don't know, and that's just the military guy in me coming out because I'm not about war and I'm not about starting war or whatever. But I'm just saying,
like I said at the beginning of the show, if we're going to do it, we need to do it proper.
If any of you motherfuckers would ever stop and read The Art of War by Sun Tzu, which I did because I was in the military and that was one of the recommended shit that we read. But hey, whatever. Go ahead.
And
that's how you guys know it's all staged. That's Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, yeah, it is all staged. Everyone's in on it, and we're the ones that pay the price in the end. Putin's in on this, Xi Jinping's in on this, Trump's in on this, and
it's ridiculous.
Gentlemen, good evening.
Well, it's about fucking time, man. Where you been?
You know what? I'm not married for a reason. I don't want to come on air and be married. So, Jimmy, just hush.
Now, I saw you popping back and forth, man. Were you having trouble with your Skype?
Yeah, I made some adjustments on the computer. I loaded a program called Parallels so I could run Windows 10 because I'm going to try to start doing some programming. And I didn't do a restart before I tried hitting Skype. So
why would you want to run Windows 10? Dude, everybody's bitching
because
about Windows.
That's what I'm using. That's what I'm going to use to be able to program radios.
All right.
It needs to be a window based. I don't want Windows. That's why I went with a Mac. But
why didn't you do
running it in Parallels allows me to be able to program the scanner, program my my ham radio and stuff like that from the same computer.
All right. So I'm good. So
that's the only reason. That's it. That's the only reason.
Shipping you my radio so you can program it to something.
When I get my shit together, I am on it because I'm trying to figure it out. I tried loading Sentinel, and it's not taking. So I got another guy that's going to try to help me get that groomed out. Once I get Sentinel loaded, I think I'll be able to do the scanners.
Awesome.
Yes.
So
David,
go ahead. Do your hellos. Go ahead. It's been
I haven't talked to you guys in a while. How you guys doing?
Good, Charlie. How are you?
Good, man. Lance, are you sleeping?
Not yet. I'm working on it though.
Are you? Okay, sorry.
Yeah, he said he could only make the
lullaby and good night.
Yeah, man, it's good hearing your voice.
It's good to hear you guys.
Yeah, man.
He said he could only make it the first hour because he's old and shit, and he's got to get up early.
Yeah, I got training tomorrow. I got to get up early.
So
is that what they call it? Training?
That's right. That's it. Remedial training, wall-to-wall training.
Oh, I remember wall-to-wall.
Hey, you remember wall-to-wall training?
I remember wall-to-wall training.
Yep.
Those sucked. Those sucked.
Yes, they did. But you know what? They're good memories.
Did they have that in the Navy, David?
What's that?
Wall-to-walls when you guys were in boot?
I don't remember ever hearing anything like that.
Oh.
Must be an Army thing.
Maybe it was bulkhead to bulkhead in the Navy. What, stem to
I don't
stern?
know. The way Dave talks about it, he was doing all kinds of YMCA shit. So. Oh, your stories are awesome, Dave. I love it when you tell your stories. It cracks me up. But anyway, sorry I derailed you. Hey,
No,
Jimmy,
good.
Neutron Bomb.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Thank you very much. I still got some fucking gray matter going on upstairs. I'm gonna pat myself on the back after the show.
Okay, all right. Don't dislocate anything.
I'm gonna try not to. It's been rough, man. I've been working my fucking butt off the last couple of days, man. Lots of upper body shit. Lots of, oh my god, I can't believe I'm doing this at 50 kind of stuff. But hey, it's good for me. I've lost 7 pounds already.
Good
so,
for you.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I'm busting ass. I got a couple of job offers that just came in, so shit's turning around for me.
How's the house thing going? By the way,
I'm
how's
probably
that
going to
going?
wind up pulling it off the market because I've only had the 2 showings, and the lady that's listed the property has not shown it once.
Well, can't you change it to somebody that's more competent?
Well, I think there's some other stuff going on, and I'll probably talk to you in private about that.
That's fine.
Just because I don't know if my friend wants it aired right now, so I'm not going to say anything about it. But
Not a problem.
I think that there's a reason that I haven't sold it. Right? There's
and
like,
that's fine too. Things work out mysteriously.
Yep. Exactly. And
I'm
I mentioned
good
that
with
to
that.
my girlfriend today too, and she said the same thing. You know, her eyes kind of lit up, and she goes, "Well, you know, yeah, that's a ding kind of thing." So.
Well, and the thing of it is that, and I don't know if anybody else shares the same opinion, but you know, when you were saying that you were going to put it on the market, I found that to be a little bit surprising personally because, I mean, it had a lot of the things that you wanted to with the garden and the access close by to a lake and whatnot. And I guess I kind of took it back. You know, I was taken back by that. But, you know, I mean,
I put a
people
lot of
in
work
their,
into this
in their
place,
time,
man.
they have different things and they move through their life differently. But I don't know. I thought you were very, very, very well rooted in there.
I put a ton of fucking work into this place, but it's not exactly what, if I was coming down here to pick a property for myself, it's not what I would have picked. I did a lot of the picking because of Mom and her condition.
Sure.
You know, that's why we were so close to town, which I'm only 3 miles outside of town. I mean, it's in the woods, it's a long way, but you know what I mean? I'm only 3 miles outside of town, so it was quick to get her in if I had to get her in. The place is all, you know, it's just more room than I need now with me and just the dogs. Because my girlfriend's got her own house.
I get it. But again, none of us are getting any younger. I mean, there's no reason to say that wouldn't also be something that would benefit you in the long run as well.
What are you saying? Are you saying that I'm getting old?
I am saying that you need not develop a complex off of what I said.
What I'm saying is, did you keep Mama's walker and shit? You old fucker.
You know, you can take this anywhere you want. I just spin the top. You bump into as many walls as you want.
Yeah. Hey, okay, back to my original thing. Since I got you on before your computer takes a shit or whatever it's going to do.
No, we're good now. We're stable.
Oh, sweet. You gave me a reason on the text thingy as to why you were kind of iffy on coming on the show. I want you to enlighten the listeners as to that reason and tell people how you arrived at that reason.
Are you talking about just the asshattery of everything going on? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
You and your loss of, your tiredness of fuckery and all that good stuff. Go ahead. Just kind of blah about it a little bit, right?
Well, I listen to a lot less news than I used to, and in fact, I get a lot. I get a lot more up to date, realistic news when I listen to the shows with when you have Dave on and whatnot. But it just on a day to day basis, when you start looking at the reason why we do things on a day-to-day basis, the bullshit we put put up with, the politicians, the power, the just the all around fuckery of it all, and so many people are not living the way they should. And I'm not saying that I am either. It's just everybody's just fucking each other over, and I get so tired of listening to the bullshit on so many levels. And it's like, you know, on those weekends when I block everybody out, when I shut the phone off, shut the computer off, and I just do things here, you have a tendency to realign a lot smoother. And then Monday morning comes, and I have to turn all that bullshit back on, and it's just constant negativity and fucking over and scare tactics. I mean, everybody's making you either scared or petrified. You're not good enough, talking you down, shaming you. I mean, it's barely anything positive, and they call it news. And it's just not. It's not, because when you shut all that shit off and you take a step outside and you spend an afternoon in the woods or away from fucking people, all of a sudden things seem to be a little bit better. That's why I think a lot of people go hunting. It's not to kill anything. It's to get away from the fuckery.
Yep.
You go out, you camp, you eat some food, you walk around in the fucking woods, you fall asleep next to a tree. I don't give a shit if I do shoot something when I'm out there. It is so calming and relaxing. And
being in the woods, you escape, man.
Back.
When you get back that close with nature, it just changes you. You can't
it
can't
changes
help.
you completely. Changes you. It may take a day or so. You know, when you're out on a hunt, you gotta purge that static. And then once you purge the static and you're in the woods, you can hear better, smell better.
You put
your senses are heightened, and you're just not that dull drone that they speak to you in that stupid bullshit way. It's just, I don't know. It's
to anyone out there that doubts what we're talking about, just indulge me one time and do this. Go out to your backyard. Take your shoes and socks off of your feet and put your bare feet on the ground and stand there for 5 minutes and tell me if you don't feel different. It's just that simple.
Yep. I'd probably have frostbite, but
well, yeah. Make sure it's a relatively mild temperature, 50 and above, please. Even 50, you might catch a little sniffle. So.
He's like our honorary Canadian, as I think what he is.
Well, I'm pretty close. I'm only like an hour and a half away from the border.
I know. That's what I mean. You don't speak the same as they do, but
at least
you definitely have a story. You're like,
yeah, at least he doesn't say "hey" all the time.
Out here getting a tan, and you're like, "I'm snowblind. I'm happy for all of you."
It's getting nicer up here, though. It's been in the 40s, and all the snow's pretty much gone. And by the end of the week, it's supposed to be up in the 60s.
Well, that's good. That'll be nice.
Which feels like 100 here.
I know. You're going to be like in your Navy gear, wearing a thong and sunglasses and shit.
Well, it's nice when I drive. I can roll down my window just a little bit and get some fresh air instead of having to worry about freezing.
Joanna, send me an email and tell me what you're referring to, and I'll try to hook you up as quick as I can. Sorry, that was out of chat. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but a lot of the conversations, I mean, not just the news, but I mean, even conversations with my family back in Ohio, it's negative. It's always fucking negative. Everybody's, this hurts, that hurts, somebody's being an asshat, blah, blah, blah. It's very little positive, and it's like, stop. Yeah. You got to push this in the different direction, you know?
That's one thing. And
that's what my text was about. So
the thing that just blows me away, and I talk about it on a lot of shows now, and it's become the norm, I guess. But people, the apathy is what gets me. The apathy is what gets me. The fact that people aren't standing up and going, wait a minute, with all the fucking wars and bomb dropping and shit. Wait a minute. We've been doing this for the last 20 fucking years straight, and it's got us nowhere except deeper in debt and blah, blah, blah. Wait a minute with all the fucking taxes. Wait a minute. Why is nobody saying wait a minute? Why is everybody just, oh, whatever. Oh, whatever. They just fucking roll over every time the government tells them to roll over. What happened to the balls in this country? What happened to the why are people so I know it's the PC thing, right? Why are people so easily offended? Why are people so easy to stab you in the back for somebody else's opinion or like or whatever? You know, it's just it's so pathetic.
Well, and you got to look over the last, probably more so in the last 40 years. I mean, yeah, it's been building up since the early 1900s, but the real hammering has been coming from the 60s is all the legislation that really makes it difficult to do anything without getting some sort of legal action taken against you. And that's done on purpose. That's a power play. So what it is it's basically just denying you the ability to speak your mind and do something about it, because what they do is they make it a legal thing. And now what is it? We're on the you get out there in the media now, and it doesn't even have to be truth, but all they have to do is throw it out there and accuse you of something. And with social media, now all of a sudden you're guilty, and there isn't even a trial. You're not brought up on anything, but you're guilty and you're smeared. You know, and it's just it's going dark quick, and the only way that I see to do it is just to roll it back and don't put enough of yourself out there to allow that. But also, that doesn't mean you have to follow the rules either. I mean, people tend to gravitate towards the most popular things in the media. You could do all kinds of things behind the scenes and set yourself up. Just don't announce it.
I'm still a firm believer that if these ass clowns that are running things find me guilty of anything, that means I'm doing something right. So
that's exactly right.
They
the
can
flack
eat
is the
a bag of
heaviest when
dicks.
You're over the target.
Right. They can eat a bag of dicks. I don't. I will never change for any of them. I am steadfast in my beliefs, and all of them can eat a bag of dicks.
And I agree, and I think that as things are beginning to change, I think that the attitude that we may possess, and kind of like that in your face, what it is it's going to. The paradigm's going to adjust to where you're going to get exactly the same thing you want, but what you're going to be is you're going to become more of the observer, and you're going to use their activity to move your next chess piece. Instead of provoking them, let them provoke you, because they're on a timeline. We're not. They're being pushed from higher up, and so what's going to happen is they're going to start making mistakes. And we learn from those mistakes, and we gravitate and get smarter and better, and we work around them. It's going to be one of those things where if you go in their face, you're going to get arrested, shot, killed, whatever. If you want to do that, that's your choice.
Protesting, protesting, it gets you nowhere. It gets you nowhere.
Yeah, exactly right.
It gets you on a facial recognition file, and it gets you followed by the FBI if you make too big of a wave. So.
Yep.
Yeah, that's nothing. It's going to come down to the fact that, and even if 10 million men turned up on Washington, D.C. and told them that, we're eliminating Congress, we're firing y'all, get out of here, we're going to start all over with a new election, blah, 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 blah. Even if all that shit happened, it wouldn't make a difference.
It wouldn't change a thing. Nope. And the thing is that
it'd start a civil war. It started a civil war because they call out the National Guard and the fucking army come out and
So I mean, what they do is generally the best way to gin up something like this is attack people emotionally, and that's exactly what's going on. It has nothing to do with logic or principles.
No,
because if you take,
but they've already got this country. They got us right where they want us.
Yes,
there's the people that are speaking like us. We're 1/10 of the population, maybe.
Sure.
All right. So they know that they'll never get 1 million men to stand up and run to Washington D.C. with their guns and say we're putting an end to all this bullshit, because it'll never fucking happen. There aren't 1 million guys. There might be 300,000 of them, but half of those guys are going to go, dude, I got to be home by Monday, right? Because I got to be back at the fucking job.
They'll call in the UN, and then it'll really get crazy.
Well, yeah, and there we go, kicking it off, right? I mean, I think Dave was talking about it earlier in the show that we're going to be killing each other in the fucking streets over a gallon of water before this is all said and done.
Exactly right. and I agree with that. I was listening on my phone as I was working and driving. I was listening to the show, and I'm like, yep, you're exactly right. It is going to happen. But the thing of it is either you can get all anxiety and emotional over it, or you plan appropriately and realize no matter how hard we push, no matter how hard we try, no matter what we do from the beginning of when we were all talking together until the end, we're all going to go, period. It's not like if we push harder, we'll live longer. It doesn't, it's going to happen. They're going to have whatever it is that they want to have. Yeah. And it's not one of those, everybody dies. I'm not talking like an action film. I'm just saying it's going to happen. And the best way that you can do that is you may not be able to extract yourself completely from society. You could do the best you can, and those that are totally off the grid, God bless you. But even then, the state, it comes down on them as well. I mean, you say you're off the grid, but then they come out there and they hassle you. I mean, it never stops. People are like, well, I'm off the grid. Yeah, but you still own a piece of property, and they still hassle your ass.
They only hassle the ones that they think they can get away with it. You know what I mean? If they think they've got the local government, they want to
make a statement.
Well, if they think they got the local government in their pocket, then they'll push it. But if somebody stands up and the local government's like, you guys from the feds got you got too much going on, and then they back off and they let the dude do what he wants.
Sure.
You see the meme all the time on Facebook about this guy was put in jail for 5 years for collecting rainwater on his own property. He's the only one that I've heard about so far.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And then there's the guy down in Georgia that got his whole property taken away from him and he committed suicide and all that. I mean, you hear of scattered things. The guy up in Michigan that got all his hogs taken or slaughtered because they were feral hogs according to the state or whatever. There's those incremental cases all over the place. But for every one of those, there's 5 guys that went, you feds can fuck off. And they fucked off. So.
And like I think we discussed this many a times long ago, and that
the one thing they should get everybody's ire up though.
And any of this, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just wanted to throw this out there really quick. The one thing that should get everybody's ire up is the murder of Lavoy Finicum. Over all that bullshit out there. So okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just taking a sip. You finish your thought.
Well, no, I'm just saying, that's the one case where people should be like, you guys stepped over the line. You feds stepped over the line there. Not to mention, there's that thing in Waco, the Branch Davidian thing where we went in and killed a bunch of kids and women, and nobody said shit about that either. That blew me the fuck away. That they went in and burnt down a church and nobody said shit. But anyway.
Well, and I think that where that comes from is it's not so much that nobody, it's not that nobody said anything, but it's like, what do you say that has any traction that can get you anywhere with it, or do you just say it
when you bring it up? You see their eyes roll back in their head. They're like, oh my god, he's going to talk about the Branch Davidian.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for being asleep, dude. Thanks for the fucking
that's
drink your fluoride.
As it is.
Yeah, well, I want to slap the fucking teeth out of people like that.
Well, but when it really comes down to it, society that thought Cabbage Patch Kids were important and spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on that too. I mean, we're a very screwed up society when. It's news this week and next week it's basically nothing, and it's only what's in style and what's in fad in our society, and I don't think anybody could disagree with that.
Yeah,
and where's the Hog Kid now? Yeah. Has anybody heard about the Hog Kid?
No, I haven't heard anything from him for weeks.
Yep.
What?
I mean, he's gone all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Poof.
That's what I said. When his 15 minutes of fame are done, and nobody's paying attention to him anymore, and nobody's wearing his fucking armbands or listening to him spew his bullshit, then he's going to wind up face first in his own puddle of vomit after ODing.
Yep. Where did I fail?
Right. You watch. He'll be dead within a year, I'll bet you. He'll be dead within a year.
Or either dead or
he'll do something really extravagant, like
jacked up charges.
Well, no. Well, yeah, there is that. Or he'll run for
drinking and
office.
fucking a pig out on a farm with an AR-15 or something.
He'll try to run. He'll try to run for Congress or something.
Yeah. Well, what is it that Manning, Bradley Manning? what was that story? That was about a month ago. They were talking about wanting to put him in Congress.
Yeah.
That son of a bitch. I remember.
He's a fucking traitor.
I remember at the exact time that shit kicked off. I was at my computer and we were working on stuff, and the directive came down: pull all attached devices from your computers. And it was like a squash. Everybody in DOD got hammered, and it was like they locked us down so tight on Nipper, which is regular network access, not SIPR, which is secure access. But all Nipper computers, pull all drives, any drive, whether it be a hard drive, stick drive, everything, pull it all. And then they clamped everybody down because of that motherfucker. And they're talking about Congress going and representing people. Are you kidding me? That's when you know that the evil is definitely flowing in the air, man. And when you got shit like that going on, there is no integrity anymore. There is none. The only integrity that you have is among the people themselves that band together and see each other as people and not as things like the people in DC. They just look at us as things. All we are is producers. We produce taxes. That's the only reason why they talk to us or patronize us or whatever.
Infrastructure. Yeah, we keep up the infrastructure. We keep the wheels
greased.
That's
it. That's the only reason why we're useful to them. That's it.
Yeah, we're the serfs that grease the wheels.
Yes. Yep. And whether that be grease or by blood, it doesn't matter to them either way.
Usually blood. Yeah. The grease is the money. You know what I mean? It's all, and I say this all the time, man. If it's not about the money, it's about the money. And if it's not about the money, then it's about the money. It all comes back.
That's exactly right. It's the opposite. Yeah.
Your money, and the reason that I say that is because your money is energy. It's your energy. It's your life. You know, when you go out to buy a car, you're not spending $45,000 on that car. You're spending about a year and a half of your fucking hard work. You know what I mean? That's what that is. That's how people should look at that.
A year and a half of your life.
Of your life.
Not even work, just your life.
Yeah, your energy. It's your energy. Yeah. That's why it's called currency. Currency.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yep.
And here's something that, you know, and I'm getting more and more excited the more and more videos I watch about this is and we've talked about this. I'm not going to bore it with the decluttering and minimizing and whatnot, but listening to the next generation, not our generation doing it, but the next generation doing it, that is going to have an economic shockwave through this country. Because when you've got when I first started watching a lot of the videos, there were a lot of guys doing it, but now overwhelmingly the females are attaching themselves to that movement. Now it's probably 90% females, 10% males. And when you have the female population buying less and contributing less to the overall economy, you are changing the dynamic of this country.
Oh yeah.
And just give it a little bit more time, because I work with a handful of millennials where I'm at, and they don't have prized possessions. They have things that are important to them, but they do not fall under that same thing that we fell under earlier in the 60s and 70s. Stuff equals status. Yeah, they don't buy that. They don't buy that shit. Yeah.
Oh, the guys down the street, the Joneses down the street got a new Lincoln, man. We gotta go buy a new
These
Chevy.
Guys don't give a shit. They're like, am I happy or am I not?
If you look, everything's going toward minimalism, small houses and small, and that's exactly what I want to do by selling this. I told you that on the text thingy too. I want to go smaller. I want a smaller house, but more property. More property. That's what I'm looking for.
Oh, and I can agree with that. I thought that you were far happier. I'm
surrounded by national forest.
Understood that you were far happier with it than that.
But I am. Don't get me wrong, dude. I have put a lot of time and energy and money into this place, and it is exactly what I want. It's got a steel roof on it and the shed and water collection. You know, I've got a big ass garden. I've got solar power going. You know, I've got my own well that's clean water. It's good fucking water. It's 300 feet deep. You know, it's going on. It's going on. But there are a couple things that I would have done different if I was selecting it for myself. So, you know, I'm at the point now where, and everything's paid for, dude. I mean, this is cash sitting here, right? It's a big chunk of cash. And I can transfer it back into cash and get what I want.
You know what you're missing?
Well,
the only thing you're missing. You got that whole thing paid off. You've got all that done. You got the general and all that stuff. You know what you're missing? You're missing the Bahama blue jumpsuit with the belt buckle and a brand new pair of white New Balance shoes.
Oh, shit.
That's
and the Mai Tai with the little,
Tai.
Yeah, with the umbrella hanging out of it and shit. I got to get some chrome shades. Yeah.
That's all you need, man. You are done. You have reached the pinnacle.
And a Panama Jack hat.
In a Panama Jack hat.
Oh, shit. But it's paradise, dude. And I live in the middle of paradise, right? And the only thing I want is a bigger piece of it, you know? And I think I'm telling myself right now, it's clicking in my head right now that the reason that this is not selling and that I'm not getting what I want is because it's what I want, you know? It's not what I need. Right. It's what I want. I've got what I need right here. So it's I don't know. I'm conflicted now, right? And then there's a reason. I kept telling myself there was a reason that other property popped up and that it's where it is and it's the house number, quote unquote, is what it is and all that. I mean, it was all like karma's clicking away. And it might be for me, just not right now. Just not right now.
And that may be. So. And the thing of it is that you're getting yourself into a state of readiness, and that's good. I mean, once you've and
this
I think
new place is going to take a ton of fucking work.
Too.
Yeah, this new place is going to take a ton of work to get to the point where I'm at right now. So there's that too. Sure. But, yeah, we'll see. I mean, there's other options to do this too. I can do a bridge loan with this. And just carry the note until the house sells, and use the bridge loan to go get the other property and stuff like that. I just don't want to carry that.
Just be careful. You don't want to do any weird gymnastics.
Yeah, I don't want to carry a note. Period.
Sure.
So I'm thinking about going in and that's neither here nor there.
Anyway, I took you totally down like a total rabbit hole, and. But I don't want Dave to fall asleep on us.
If there's anybody listening that wants to move to the Ozarks, this place is move-in ready.
It's
just throwing it out there. And it's listed, too. So, Mossy Oak. Mossy Oak Real Estate. It's on there. Okay. David, are you still awake? We still got like a half hour, 25 minutes to fill.
Sorry, I cut you off, Dave.
Wow, I'm sitting here listening to you two.
Yeah. He tends to run on at the mouth, but that's cool because he doesn't come.
Wow. All right, then. I see how it is. See you in 3 months. Fuck.
It's been about that long, so.
I know. All right. Dave, shut me up. Come on, man. Jeez.
All right, this just came out tonight. It says, despite strikes, series of sock and steel wage chemical attacks, there's 4 U.S. sources. This U.S. assessment following U.S., British, and French missile strikes in Syria show how they only had a limited impact on Assad's ability to carry out chemical weapons, 4 U.S. officials told Reuters. And saying we might have to go back and do it again.
And what do you think Putin's going to do now?
Me, I think he's part of the damn game myself.
Right.
It's kind of funny. He steps aside for everybody and lets them do what they want.
I was saying that earlier. Is he going to turn out to be a paper tiger? All this rhetoric about shooting all the planes out of the sky that cross the Syrian border, blah blah blah. I don't know. I mean, he is a cagey fucker, and he might just turn around and drive a right cross into somebody's ass. So there is that, right? I mean, if they go for this.
I think Putin's way of retaliating or anything in Syria is to move through Ukraine. but then he risks bringing on a NATO response if he does that.
Like they're not going to respond? They've got him surrounded with missiles and shit.
You know?
All right, hang on.
I think that would be his ace in the hole is Eastern Ukraine. We're already accusing him of killing 5 civilians yesterday.
I got to go let my dogs out. I'll be right back. You talk amongst yourselves.
What are we saying here with this? Let me find this Ukraine story. Oh, this was big news that came out just a couple minutes ago from NBC News. It says Trump has been warned Michael Cohen is most likely wearing a wire and that their conversation 2 days ago may have been wiretapped by the FBI.
Who? Him and who?
Cohen.
Cohen and who?
Trump.
Oh, jeez.
Trump met with Cohen 2 days ago after he was accused of all this stuff, and now they're saying that Cohen was wearing a wire and set Trump up.
What's the whole shit about Sean Hannity too? This guy's the same lawyer for Sean Hannity, and they're trying to take him down too. What's up with that?
Well, they're saying that Hannity, Hannity claims he didn't have any official contracts with Cohen, but that he did talk to him a couple times about some deals going on, but nothing officially on the books. And
right.
And it's coming out at the same. There's evidence that was confiscated saying the opposite.
Deal about what?
Some kind of, I don't know, business dealing type stuff, I guess.
It's supposed to be nefarious?
I don't know the whole story. I just know bits and pieces of what I've seen, and what they're saying is that Hannity had a contract with Cohen, but Hannity's denying that. There was some underhand dealings going on between him and Cohen, that Cohen was fixing some deals for Hannity that were going bad. Basically, they call this Cohen the fixer for Trump, that Cohen knows more about Trump than pretty much his own family. And that basically Trump considers this Cohen, on the same level as his son or daughter. So
right.
For the feds to nab this dude was a kick in the balls to Trump. Because this guy knows everything about Trump, every dirty deal. And that's why they said his nickname was the fixer. He had a secret hotel room where if Trump was paying someone off, they would send him to this hotel room, and he would pay him off, give him the money and everything. And so they raided his house. They raided that secret hotel room. They raided his his office.
You think he's going to turn up dead?
They got everything, and now they're saying that basically this Cohen's going to flip on Trump because he's facing life in prison.
Maybe Trump will call in
most likely going to be indicted within the next 90 days.
Maybe Trump will call in a ace in the hole card with Hillary, and she'll have him offed for Trump.
Well, the big thing with this Cohen is for the feds to get this raid on him, they had to go through 3 big judges. I mean, 3 judges, and they had to have complete evidence that they had on him for this 3rd judge to sign off. I mean, it was like a real high level judge at the end that had to sign off on it all, and he had to look at all the evidence first that the FBI had. And so this judge looked at the evidence and decided, hey, there's enough here to go after this dude. But that's, 3 different judges had to sign off on this search warrant.
Charlie, you want to chime in on this?
So they got this Cohen guy. They got him. And the deal is he's got every bit of dirt there is on Trump. And the question is he going to hold true to his friendship, or is he going to flip when they threaten him with life imprisonment? It sounds like to me they already stuck a wire on him. And he already got Trump. Trump met with him a couple days ago. And so now if this Cohen was wearing the wire and it was all taped, whatever Trump said, the feds have got now.
Lance, Charlie, you guys want to chime in on all this? I mean, it does involve a woman with big tits, so I figured you guys might have something to say about it.
I talk too much, apparently. Sure.
Oh, fuck off, man.
No, you know what? Exactly what Dave brought up is exactly the stuff I'm talking about. All this
fuckery
shit. Yeah, this backstabbing to you, me, Dave, Lance. This is the kind of shit that I'm talking about. We have nothing but fucking criminals running the place, and it's like we can.
And nobody says anything about it. That's what blows me the fuck away. That 90% of this country isn't going, what the fuck are you people doing? That's what blows me away.
And if you do, it's hate speech.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Now they got all kinds of things that, either you're racist, you hate women, you hate black people, you hate whitey, you fucking hate the sky, you hate the earth. Why do you eat fucking beef? Fucking be kind to dandelions. Fucking fuck all you people. What the fuck? Why can't you just operate like a normal fucking human being? But everybody's
not
offended,
normal anymore.
like whatever the fuck happens.
Yeah, they're not normal anymore. They're offended by words, and they want everybody to be disarmed. Or I don't get it, man. I don't get it. But the thing I keep rolling back to, man, is that look, the fluorides worked. The chemtrails in the sky have worked. The programming on television,
Tide Pods.
Right. The programming on television has worked. The social media manipulation has worked. It's all worked for them, man. And for the people that are awake, look, God bless you. God bless you. Make sure that you're fully awake, though, because I still have friends to this day that swear they're awake and they're so fucking half asleep it's not even funny. But you try to wake them up and then whatever. They quit talking to you and shit. It's whatever. And I'm not saying that I'm right on everything either, right? I'm not saying that at all.
None of us are, but we're doing the best we can.
Right. But if you look at the truth movement now, every one of the motherfuckers thinks that their answer is the exact and only answer. And if you don't agree with it's just, I don't know. The infighting is just, and that's why I live in the middle of the fucking woods, man. But you still see me. I've been out here for 5 years since I've been here to the middle of the woods, and I still bitch every fucking week. Well, not every week now because I'm taking some time off, but nothing changes. Nothing. It just gets worse and worse and worse. Tide Pods and snorting condoms. You just brought it up. What the fuck, dude? 5 years ago, that never would have been talked about on. No. What the fuck?
New thing they're doing now is they're eating ramen noodles
out of a toilet. Yeah. Oh my God, man. You know what? Let the little motherfuckers do whatever they want to do.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Just let it happen, man.
Take their helmets away.
I'm going camping. I'm going to the shooting range. You guys snort condoms and eat fucking ramen noodle toities.
Hey, look, it's like that when we were kids, man. If you ate too many marbles, you didn't grow up to have kids of your own. It's a natural selection.
I'm adopting the "get off my lawn" mantra this year. Get off my lawn.
Get off my fucking lawn.
Get off my fucking lawn.
Yeah.
I hate you people.
And okay, here's another thing. With the people that are awake, right? And I've been saying this for a long time. I hate people. I just don't like people. I don't like to people. I don't like being around lots of people. I've been that way for more than 30 years of my life.
Oh yeah.
I don't like to be around people. And it's more and more and more. I hear all of my friends saying it. Oh my God, I got to go out in public today. I don't fucking want to.
Yeah, I gotta go out in people.
Right.
What the fuck?
Right. But the people that are like that now. Yeah, the people that are like that though, there's a hope there, right? There's a glimmer of hope there. You're like, hey, there's another one. There's another one that's potential waking up, because they see. The stupid is fucking contagious, man. If you're out for more than 30 minutes around a lot of other people, it feels like you have this shit clinging on you, and you want to go home and wash it off. Mm-hmm. It's just thick. It's thick, and that's why. And we said it the last week, and the week before, and the week before. They're going to get their way. They're going to have this war. They're going to go for the fucking one world government, one world religion, one world whatever. Everybody's going to try to take a chip. Everybody's going to be on digital currency. It's going to click that way, people. So be ready for it, because there's not. Yeah. I don't give a fuck how many people want to protest. It's not going to change. This is not going to change. All you people that are trumpets that are thinking that Trump's going to save the fucking country, come on, man. Come on. It's not going to change. Nothing's going to change. He is doing exactly what Hillary Clinton would have done minus 12 months. If Hillary would have got in, all this shit would have happened last year. He just postponed shit a year. I saw a thing on Facebook today that said, well, people think that Trump's not doing anything and nothing's fucking, but unemployment's down and this is down and the wall's getting built and blah, 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 blah. Really? prove that to me. Show me the numbers. Show me where unemployment has fell. Show me. I'm not from Missouri. I'm just a little south of here, but show me. Because it's all just fucking rhetoric, people. It's all rhetoric. Nothing in this country has changed for the better, period. If you want to talk about the stock market, I'll talk to you about a word called manipulation, right? So, whatever. Your 401k ain't going to pay. It's just that simple. It's just that simple.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, rant over. Sorry. Back to you, Dave.
With the weather.
No, he already told us it's cold as fuck. Yeah. What?
It says, gun bump stock makers slide fire shutting down business.
Imagine that.
Manufacturer bump stock devices like the ones used in the Las Vegas mass shooting last fall is shutting down its business. There's a message posted on the website of Texas-based Slide Fire says the company will stop taking orders at midnight on May 20th.
I remember 10 years ago when you could buy a bump stock, a Slide Fire brand bump stock for $35. They were just coming out, brand new technology. Nobody fucking believed in it. They were selling for $35 on Sportsman's Guide. How much are they now? Almost as much as a fucking rifle, $300, $400. Yeah. Hey,
I remember the mid '90s when you could buy a full auto Uzi for $900.
Yeah, you still had to have
and
a
then a
Class A
$200 tax stamp.
Yeah, you had to have that Class A. Had to have that Class A. So yeah, they get you coming and going, and now you got to pay $200 to get a fucking silencer for shit's sake. Whatever. Look, 2A or no 2A, you're not taking the fucking guns from this country. I don't give two rats' asses. Not happening. If the man has wherewithal, you're not going to make it into his house to get his guns unless you bomb the fucking house. It's just that simple. The people that are gun nuts, if you want to call them gun nuts, are not going to let you take their guns. The Second Amendment be damned. You could erase it tomorrow. They're not going to fucking give you their guns. Some of the dumbasses will because you pass a law, but the majority of us will go, fuck your law.
Yeah, that's when you have to start looking the difference between real law, natural law, and man law. Look, and that's where it gets into the greed and the power, and you just say fuck them, and you'll get arrested.
It's not a law, dude. This is my human right, and my rights come from God. They don't come from any man,
and they don't care. You could say all that as they put you in the car, but the thing of it
they'll
is,
never
that
get the cuffs on me, man. No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Okay, well,
my barrel will be hot, and I'll probably be a bloody mess on the ground by the time everything's said and done. But they will never take my guns away from me. Never. Never. Not as long as I'm alive. I'll put it that way.
Sprinkle them across the countryside as gun trees. That's
well. Here's the
plan.
This property that I have is held in sovereign trust, and what that means, I own patent on this ground. I have the patent on this. The trust owns patent on this ground. Okay, and what that means is they have no authority here, period, unless they're called here by me, because I'm the only motherfucker that's a trustee on this trust, right? So anybody else calls from here, it don't mean fuck, unless they're called here by me, the authorities have no authority here. This is sovereign ground. I own patent on this ground. Look that up.
And they'll ignore you just like they ignore
I'm sure they
else.
will. I'm sure they will. But some of them don't, when you start throwing legal terminology at them, it freezes some of them up, and they're like, hey, man, we better get on a phone or something and call a judge maybe. But I'm just saying, when they come here, they're going to get a hassle.
Well, and I agree. I'm a very, very big proponent of building caches across your state or across the country. I think it's a good place to dump gear. There's
a lot of people around with metal detectors.
Oh, I agree.
You also have to have a FFL, I'm standing on it right now. You know what an FFL is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm standing on it right now. This is I'm not I will never bug out of this area because everything I need is right here. You know, if I do have to leave this residence for a minute, I'll probably still be within eye shot of this residence. So, you know, because everything I'm surrounded by national forest.
I agree.
I can hide.
But I mean, you almost have to look at the situation. If it really got that crazy, you almost have to look at it from the point of view of being able to leave your village and return once the occupation recedes. I mean,
Right, yeah.
you can either die
you.
on wave one, or you can retract and oversee what's going on, learn the tactics.
See, it's not going
teach.
to be that way here, though. It's not going to be that way here.
We don't know that.
You know,
we don't know that for a fact.
Well, that's true. I don't know that for a fact. But what I do know,
Neither do I.
is that we're not going to have. I can't really say that either, man, because about half of them are brain dead. I don't think that we will have bands of military scouring the countryside trying to round up the ne'er-do-wells. I don't either.
But I think that it's something
you'll have
that
to defend your property
from
from
our historical past. We were taught these things when we joined the military, is to take those lessons and say, hey, you know what? This is how we had to deal with an enemy, and that enemy may be our own countrymen or the government or whatnot. And it's like, okay, what worked or what didn't work? It doesn't mean that necessarily it will work now. However, if you use a complicated tactic, they're thinking of us as sheeple, and that we'll just, anything that's within the walls of our house, or anything we own, we'll keep it in the walls of our house. And when you start divorcing that idea and spreading it out and leaving your house as just an operations center, but you actually spread your gear over a very wide swath, it makes it very, very complicated. They're like, well, you own this. Go ahead, search the house. Search the whole property. I got plenty of time. You could bring out all your gear. Go for it. Go for it. It's one of those situations where some of your fights are going to be passive, some of them are going to be active, and you have to be wise as to which one will gain you the best ground.
I'm guaranteeing you, though, that I'm not the only person that thinks the way I think. Right?
Oh, I agree.
Especially where I'm at. You start getting back off into these hills. There's some places where I wouldn't go. You know what I mean?
Sure.
As much as confident as I am, and the plethora of skill sets that I have at my disposal, there are places around here that I would not go, simply because I've heard stories, and those kind of people you just don't fuck with. Those are the ones where they'll set the C-130 on a left-hand bank around the area and just unload on them. You know what I mean? Or they'll hit them with a fucking 500-pounder from 30,000 feet. That's the only way they'll come down into areas like this and
I agree,
and fuck up the pockets of resistance.
Yep.
So.
Yep. You're right.
And they won't have to do that until long time, because the dumbasses around here, they'll last about a week. You know what I mean? And then they'll be gone because they'll starve to death or whatever the fuck happens. They'll kill each other off. And then the ones that are left in the hills that know how to take care of themselves aren't going to fuck with anybody for a while, right? So they're not going to get fucked with for a while. So that's the position that I put myself into.
I agree, and that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Pull back for the first 6 months to a year and just let shit roll.
Let it ride. Yep. Make sure you get your food stocked up and you got a way to clean your water and make a little power in every now and then, because you're not going to have to worry about getting on the internet and shit, not for a while.
Yeah, operate at night and sleep during the day.
Yep. Well, keep your eyes open during the day. Have a bunch of dogs on the property that are really alert and stuff like that. I mean, just you people that are listening to me, the people that are live listening to me, you folks know. We're preaching to the choir. You folks know. You know, the people that might listen to this later on down the road, if you're not, I mean, if you might new or somebody, listen, get ready, because it's coming. It's coming. Prep yourself up. It's not stupid stuff, man. I mean, you know, it's not, if you're putting together some storable food and a way to clean water and whatever, I mean, it comes in handy during natural disasters, floods, hurricanes, you know, whatever, the snowstorms. You can't get out for a couple of days because the roads are fucked up or whatever. Yeah, it comes in handy. It's not just for alien invasions or whatever. You know what I mean? It's
right.
So yeah, prep yourself.
It's basic preparation. I mean, it's not silliness. It's just basic preps.
Mentally, this is my Greg Hunter is fantastic on YouTube. If you guys don't listen to Greg Hunter, listen to him. He ends most of his stuff with this: prepare yourself mentally, physically, and above all, spiritually. Spiritually,
yep.
There you go. You can't get any better than that. Yahweh's in charge. Make sure you listen to him too, and talk to him every day. Any breaking news over there, David? Lance, did you go to sleep?
Well, this came out. It says police departments across the United States are preparing for mass-scale protest after word that Trump would likely make a move to fire Special Counsel Robert Mueller soon. Pittsburgh PD to begin preparations starting April 19th.
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. I bumped into the microphone. You guys hear that? Is this thing on? Yeah, it is. Okay.
This is what they said in it, though. It says this is what happened at the Pittsburgh PD. It says, we have received information of a potential large-scale protest in the central business district. There is a belief that President Trump will soon move to fire Special Prosecutor Mueller. This would result in a large protest within 24 hours of the firing. Protests would be semi-spontaneous and more than likely happen on short notice.
Who's going to protest?
It says, based on this information, beginning tomorrow, April 19, 2018,
a bunch of
all major crimes detectives are required to bring a full uniform and any issue protective gear, riot gear, with them to work until further notice. We may be needed to assist in the event that there is a large-scale protest. It says, uniform requirement does not apply to any detectives on modified duty. And it goes on here.
You said duty. Sorry.
If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you. Victor Joseph, Commander, Pittsburgh Bureau of Police, Major Crimes, 1203 Western Avenue, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 15233.
Unbelievable. Isn't Philadelphia the city of freedom or something like that? Isn't that where they get the Liberty Bell set in Philadelphia?
Yep, this is Pittsburgh, though.
Oh, it's Pittsburgh. Oh,
but they said all these protests from major cities, and it's going to be all.
Who the fuck's going to protest Mueller's firing? A bunch of Q followers? Who would protest Mueller's firing?
Oh, all your liberals.
Mueller's family.
All your
don't fire my son.
All your liberals, man. A lot more of them in this country than there are.
So what, there's going to be a bunch of people running around in the streets pissed off and wearing vagina hats over his firing? Who cares?
No, probably burning shit. They're talking about riots here, burning shit down.
Oh, my God, man. Better call guys with guns.
Something like this could kick off a civil war.
Hey, man, this is going to be, this is like the Boston bombing. This is going to be a preparatory exercise for clamping down on a large city, and they're going to have cops out in mass, and everybody's going to be marching around with all their fucking dark helmets on and shit, and blah 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 blah. This is a test.
Well, it ain't just Pittsburgh; it's going to be countrywide. I've been reading a whole bunch on this the past couple days and stuff. I guess that these protest leaders throughout your major cities have already got all the gear and everything hidden in different places in your major cities. That way they know where to go to right away and everything.
We've known that for years.
The liberals have been planning this.
They started that when they were doing Operation Who's Futzits down in Texas. Remember that? That's when they were moving all that gear around. We saw it all in fucking train cars and going back and forth across the country. And yeah, they've got shit staged all over the place. They've got generators staged. They've got fuel storage staged. They've got personnel carriers staged. They've got little MRAPs staged everywhere. A lot of them are painted in UN colors, and they've got UN on the door. They're all white vehicles. Yeah, they've got it all set and ready to go. I'll bet a lot of those, what do they call them? What are those boxes that they store shit in for long term, Charlie? What do they call those boxes? They're rail car
Pelican
capable.
cases?
No, the rail car.
Rail cars?
Yeah. They're rail car capable. You can just set them in the rail cars and they lock into place and whatever. What do they call those?
Well, when they say
Connexes.
Connex. Yeah, Connex boxes. I'll bet there's Connex boxes all over the country that are full. I mean, full of UN uniforms and helmets. I'll bet you. And the 50%, when I was talking earlier, the 50% of the soldiers that are going to be in it for the money, they just want their fucking paycheck because they don't have any morals and character anymore. Like about half of them are going to go home to their families where they're supposed to be. But about the other half, they're going to be the ones that are opening those Connex boxes and putting on those UN uniforms and walking into cities and trying to disarm people. Along with actual UN troops and stuff. That's if it doesn't go whole fucking World War III in China and all that crap. So, it's all a roll of the dice. Oh my God, we're 3 minutes over. See, I get on my rants and I can't shut the fuck up. I got to stop doing that. Charlie, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate you showing up. I really miss your voice, man. You need to set your alarm for next Wednesday because I'm back to just Wednesdays. You know, spring sprung and the weather's beautiful and you can see that I'm red in the face because I've been out in the sun and stuff. So we're just back to Wednesdays only. No more Saturday shows. So set your alarm for Wednesdays. So. Yeah. I got a bag of dicks just for you too, man. Be careful.
Wow.
I'll send them to you in the mail.
Hey, it's grilling season. Get the barbecue out. Bag of dicks.
Bag of dicks.
Dozen, motherfucker. Come on.
That's right. David, as always, man, I love having you on the show, dude. You are so much information. It's unbelievable. I hear things from you that I don't hear from anybody else, man.
Dave the Oracle.
Yeah, don't get his head all swelled up and shit.
You know what? Have you seen that stash and that goatee? He needs a little head swell to.
He's got it going on. Yeah, he's got it going on.
He's got it going on. It looks sharp. It looks sharp.
Yep. The glint off the right side of his head before he just clean shaved it is it's fantastic.
Oh shit! Are you telling? Fucking, it's awesome. It's awesome. We didn't even get to Art Bell tonight. We'll have to do that later.
Next week's show. Yeah. Rest in peace, brother. You're up there in transmission heaven. Wherever you showed up, I don't know. You might have been reincarnated and brought back as a Chinese kid for all I know. I don't know.
Whoa, calm down. What's
well, I'm just saying, we don't know. We don't know. I don't know. We might recycle back to here until we get it all right.
Chum in the water. Chum in the water.
Sorry. Okay. That's it. Lance, I know you're sleeping already, but thanks when you watch the show. Well, he clicked off the show because he had to go to bed. He's got early meeting or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he said. I think it's him and the 4 other guys in the office that smoke pot. They gather around by the dumpster and make sure they're out of view of the outdoor camera. Safety meeting. Come on, guys. Let's go.
In the van. Damn it.
Spicoli with the shoe on the forehead. That was just fucking great, man. You know what that was? That was my head. I'm so big, man. Or wasted, I think. All right. I'm done. I'm gonna go play the song now and tell you guys goodbye and hang up on you. Ready? Goodbye. Hanging up. Oh shit! I should have let Dave say goodbye. Sorry, David. I'll let you say goodbye next time. I get on a roll. All right. You guys know how it is. See you next Saturday. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Every time I say it to you people, I pray for you every single night. Every single night I pray for all of you. And I pray that you seek the face of God because shit's getting real. Love, peace, and cookies, everybody. See you next Saturday. Or see you next Wednesday. Excuse me. No Saturday shows. No.